But when she opened one crate by accident, she saw something strange. Stolen Terran core chips, military grade. She froze. No one outside Earth Command was supposed to have those. Her co-pilot, Sam, stared at the chip. "This isn't a job," he whispered. "This is a trap." Jordan acted fast. She changed course, turned off the beacon, and headed for a secret Earth outpost on a nearby asteroid. There, she sent a message to Earth intelligence. Within hours, the response came. "Do not return home. You're being tracked. Someone wants that chip. Stay hidden. Help is coming." But help was far away, and Council agents were already nearby. Back on the cold planet, the Council's secret scientists received a new report. Cargo lost. Human ship escaped. The lead engineer frowned. "Find it. We need that tech." A kill order was issued. Across space, a small team of Council hunters began the chase. Jordan and Sam didn't know it yet, but they were now the center of something much bigger than a freight job. They held proof of the Council's next plan. And if they were caught, Earth would never see the next strike coming. On Earth, Admiral Locke reviewed the report. "They're not backing down," she said quietly. "They're preparing for round 2. President Vos stood beside her. "Then we prepare first." Locke nodded. "Let's bring the fleet home. Let's let the people rest." But she added, "Let's also sharpen the knife." Outside, Earth's skies were peaceful. But in the dark between stars, something was moving again. Not war. Not yet. But something colder. A warning. The humans had blocked the sun once. Now they had to stop what was coming from the dark, before it was too late. The cold planet had no name on any map. It didn't need one. To the Council, it was simply Site 0, the place where revenge would begin. Deep under its frozen surface, the silence engine was almost complete. The Council scientists worked day and night. If they succeeded, Earth would lose power, communication, and control. The planet would fall without a single shot fired. It was their final move, their quiet revenge. But the humans were already watching. Far above, hidden in deep space, a Terran stealth ship called Wraith 7 floated silently. Inside, Commander Lex Hale stared at the screens. Data from the stolen chip found by Jordan Ray had led them here. "Power spikes confirmed," his officer said. "Something big is down there." Lex nodded. "Let Earth Command know. We're not dealing with just research anymore. This is a weapon." Back on Earth, the leaders listened to the report with grim faces. President Vos spoke first. "This is a second attack," she said. "They promised peace. Instead, they built this." Admiral Locke stood beside her. "No more warnings," she said. "This time, we strike first." Within hours, the Terran fleet moved, but not with noise. They came in quiet, fast, precise. A task force of elite dropships and stealth bombers headed straight for Site 0. The Council still believed they were hidden. They were wrong. As the sun rose over the icy surface, the ground exploded. Terran troops hit the base from all sides. Drones cut through steel doors. EMP charges took down walls. The Council guards tried to fight back, but the humans were faster, smarter, and better trained. Inside the control room, a Council scientist reached for the launch button. But a single Terran soldier appeared in the doorway. "Don't," she said calmly. The scientist froze. He looked into her eyes and saw no fear, only final warning. He stepped back. The silence engine was never fired. Instead, it was destroyed, blown into dust by precision charges. The explosion lit up the sky like a second sunrise. Above, in orbit, the Council spy ships tried to run. But Terran fighters were already there. No one escaped. Earth was quiet when the news came. A message from deep space arrived at United Earth Command. It was short, cold. A mining ship, Prospector 1 had been destroyed. No survivors. The attackers? A Council patrol fleet. No warning, no communication, just death. In the control room, Admiral Hayes stood still as the screen replayed the last few seconds of the ship's life. Sparks, alarms, a crew member screaming, and then nothing. They were civilians, the Admiral said softly. Miners. The room was silent. Everyone watched the screen as the words HFY lowest blinked red. Later that day, a global broadcast went out. The President of Earth, standing before a black flag with a silver Earth emblem, spoke to every nation, every colony, and every person. They took our miners, she said. Our people, without cause, without mercy. This is not just an attack on a ship. It is an attack on humanity itself. There was no shouting, no angry threats, just calm, sharp words. We will not answer with noise. We will answer with action. Across Earth and its colonies, the response began. At Luna Naval Command, an officer opened a sealed file marked Project Black Wave. In the asteroid belt, old mining stations were turned into war factories. On Mars, deep underground, engineers began working on strange new weapons, weapons that had never been tested in open space. Special Forces teams, known only as Ghost units, were activated. They were trained for one job, to disappear into enemy territory and return with secrets. One of these units, Ghost Team 7, stood in a dark chamber under Antarctica. No names, no ranks, just code names. Mission, asked one of them. Their commander held up a small chip. Get inside the Council network. Learn everything. Fleet size, weak points, defense systems, and most of all, what they're planning next. Extraction, another asked. The commander paused. Unlikely. They nodded. No complaints. They had trained for this. Back in Council space, the warning signs grew. A listening post on the edge of Sector Theta picked up strange readings. Energy spikes, ships gathering near human space. No communication, no ID, just massive heat signals. They sent a report. The Council's response, ignore. Human ships can't build at that speed. Not possible. Ambassador Thalen tried again. You underestimate them. You always have. But the Council laughed. They don't have the tech. They don't have the numbers. They were wrong. On Titan, Earth's largest military shipyard completed the first Revenant-class battleship. It was 2 kilometers long. Black armor. No windows. Just weapons and armor. No ship like it had ever flown before. Inside, the crew moved with quiet focus. Training. Loading weapons. Running drills. A young pilot looked at the ship's name, painted in dark red letters. Vengeance. This doesn't feel like defense, he whispered. His commander answered, it's not. In deep space, Ghost Team 7 entered Council territory. They moved through dead comets, blacked-out engines, and cold silence. At a hidden relay station, they hacked into Council files. What they found made even the hardened operatives go quiet. Fleet numbers, planet locations, civilian cities. But also, proof. The Council had known the mining ship was civilian. They had orders to fire anyway. It was a message. Ghost Team 7 sent the files back to Earth. Then their ship was found. Council drones closed in fast. The team leader, codename Ash, sent one final message. We got what we needed. Tell Earth they did this on purpose. Then the signal died. Back at Earth Command, the room fell into silence again. Ash's message played one more time. They did this on purpose. There was no more doubt. The Council didn't see humans as equals. They saw them as a problem, one to be erased before it grew. Admiral Hayes turned to the President. Permission to activate full fleet protocol. She didn't hesitate. Do it. Within hours, every major colony was put on alert. Orbital shipyards moved to full capacity. Civilian space traffic was frozen. The sky above Earth began to fill with shapes, shadows of warships waiting in low orbit. The Council's sun was far away. But soon, something darker than night would come to greet it. A small Council scout ship entered a neutral zone. It was routine, nothing special, until its long-range sensors picked up something strange. Mass shadows. Dozens, maybe hundreds, moving fast. It zoomed in. What it saw made the pilot freeze. Ships, human ships, bigger than ever imagined, moving together like a storm across the stars. He tried to send a message back. It never arrived. Only one blurry image made it. It showed a massive Terran battleship rising from the dark. No lights, no insignia, just power. Back at the Council, the ambassadors stared at the image. One whispered, "They've built a fleet." Another said, "That's not possible. That should take decades." Ambassador Thalen didn't smile. He only said, "You gave them a reason." Far away, in the deep cold of space, the Terran fleet moved forward. They weren't coming for a fight. They were coming for justice. The edge of Council space was quiet. No ships, no chatter, just empty stars and cold silence. But something was moving in the dark. A listening post floated near a small moon. Inside, a single alien technician was watching the scanners. His eyes were half closed, bored. Nothing ever happened here, just old signals and space dust. Then he saw something strange. 1 dot, then 2, then 10, all moving in perfect formation. No identification codes, no response to hails. Too fast for cargo, too cold for pirates. He leaned forward. His hand shook as he sent a message back to Council Command. Unmarked ships entering Zone 9. Silent. Speed. Extreme. Request guidance. There was no reply for 5 minutes. Then the answer came. Continue monitoring. Do not engage. But it was already too late. The alien looked up. On the main screen, one of the ships turned, slow and smooth. It didn't fire. It didn't send a message. It just stared. The technician reached for the emergency beacon, and then the screen went black. The post never sent another signal. Thousands of kilometers away, the Terran stealth fleet moved forward. They had entered Council space without a sound. No lights, no noise, only cold steel and deep engines humming under their hulls. The lead ship, Phantom-class destroyer, Shade, was almost invisible. Covered in adaptive armor, it reflected the stars around it. A ghost in the dark. Inside, Commander Elena Voss watched the map. We're inside their border, her officer said. No patrols, she asked. None, or we already passed them. Voss gave a sharp nod. Good. Begin scans. We find their weaknesses, then we vanish. All across the fleet, small drones were launched, tiny black balls that floated into space and began recording everything. Satellite positions, defense grids, civilian ship routes. Within hours, the humans knew more about the Council's defenses than the Council did. Meanwhile, back at the Galactic Council chamber, panic was slowly rising. We've lost contact with 2 listening posts, a guard reported. And a relay station, another added. Ambassador Thalen stood quietly, watching the others argue. They're prodding us, he said. Nonsense, one barked. It's space debris, system failures. Thalen walked to the center of the room and activated a holomap. Red dots appeared, lost signals, dead posts, missing ships. They're not attacking. Not yet, he said. They're watching, mapping, planning. Someone laughed nervously. They don't have the tech to do that. Thalen turned. They do now. Back in human space, Earth Command reviewed the data Ghost Team 7 had sent before they disappeared. Every fleet location, every power grid, even secret Council weapons. But there was more. One file marked Shadow Directive. It was proof. The Council had a plan to contain and control Earth. Slowly, quietly, break its economy, sabotage its growth, stop humanity before it became powerful. They had already started. The file included code for viruses meant to enter Earth's defense systems. They never expected humans to find it. Now the humans had it, and they were angry. Admiral Hayes sat in the dark, reading the final report. They didn't want war, he said. They wanted control. The president stood across from him. What do we do now? He looked up. We hit them where it hurts. The order was sent. In Council space, a small moon base powered down without warning. No alarms, no gunfire, just silence. A worker tried to reboot the system. Nothing worked. The lights flickered. The ground shook. Then a wall exploded. Terran commandos in black armor stormed inside, silent and fast. Their weapons fired soundless plasma bolts. In minutes, the base was taken. No Council soldiers survived. The humans didn't destroy it. They took it, and they left a message written in the control room. This was the warning. Back at Council High Command, the news spread fast. A moon base was gone. Taken. Not destroyed. Occupied. How did they get in? Someone shouted. They were never out, Thelen replied. They've been here. Hiding. Watching. Preparing. More signals went dead. One by one, Council eyes were going dark. But there were no battles. No fleets. Just fear. Then came the message. Broadcast to every Council ship, station, and capital. A simple voice. Calm. Human. You ignored our warnings. You killed our people. You laughed. We are done talking. The dark is coming. It ended there. No threats. No names. Just silence. And then the sun began to dim. Far above the homeworld of the Council's capital planet, strange shadows appeared in space. Dark shapes. Moving. Blocking the light. A science vessel zoomed in and gasped. Their ships, thousands of them. The sun flickered. The humans hadn't come to fight yet. But now, the whole galaxy could see them. And fear their silence. The Council's capital planet, Cyrillon, had never known fear. For over 1,000 years, it was the heart of galactic power. The skies above it were always bright. Its sun, a massive golden star, never failed to shine. Fleets came and went, laws were passed, and planets obeyed. No one dared to challenge the Council. Until now. On the morning of the Solstice Festival, the people of Cyrillon woke to darkness. It began with shadows. Strange patterns crossed the sky. At first, people thought it was an eclipse. But the eclipse did not end. Within minutes, the light faded more and more. By the hour, the sun itself was gone, blocked by something massive. At first, there was confusion. Then fear. In orbit, satellites picked up thousands of moving shapes. Ships, gigantic ships, black hulls, silent drives, no Council markings, Terran warships. They had not fired a shot, but their message was clear. They were here. In the grand tower of the Council, alarms blared. Guards scrambled, locking down chambers. Ambassadors shouted over each other. This is an act of war. Where is our fleet? Why are they not firing? Ambassador Thelen watched the chaos. He had warned them. He had begged them to take the humans seriously. Now it was too late. One counselor tried to open a channel to the fleet. Activate the homeworld defense grid. A technician responded, pale and sweating. Grid is offline. Systems are not responding. What? Something is inside our network, shutting us down. The humans had already begun. Far above Cyrillon, inside the Terran dreadnought Nemesis, Admiral Rhea Locke stood in front of a star map. Her face was calm. Her voice was quiet. Status: All targets locked. Their power grid is down. Their fleet hasn't moved. Looks like we caught them sleeping. Locke nodded. Send the signal. One single data burst was sent from Nemesis. Just 3 words. Step back now. The message hit every Council military channel. It repeated again and again. Some dismissed it. Others did not. On the edges of Council space, small patrol fleets started pulling back. Captains gave quiet orders. No one wanted to be the first to die. The Terran fleet waited. No weapons fired. No ships moved. They just blocked the sun. On Cyrillon, panic began. Shops closed. Skies turned black. People flooded the streets. Some screamed. Others prayed. All looked up and saw the truth. The humans were not begging. They were warning. Inside the Grand Council chamber, Ambassador Thalen stepped forward. He activated the main screen. It showed the human fleet, row after row of dark ships, stretching farther than the eye could see. "We made a mistake," Thalen said. "We thought humans were just noise. Anger. Chaos." He turned to the others. "But they are much worse. They are patient." A silence followed. Then, for the first time in centuries, the High Speaker of the Council stood. "We must respond," he said, "with force." Thalen turned slowly. "If we strike now, they will erase us." "We have more ships," someone said. Thalen nodded. "Yes, but they are already inside our systems, inside our space, inside our minds. Look around." He pointed at the screen. "They are not just at our gate. They are behind our walls." Elsewhere, in the dark parts of Council space, human operatives were disabling relay stations, jamming satellites, capturing quiet outposts. No blood, no explosions, just precision. Earth's message was clear. We don't want war, but we are ready for it. Back on Nemesis, Admiral Locke received a message from Earth Command. Hold position. Await response. Do not fire unless fired upon. And above their sunless skies, the Terran ships waited. Still, silent, watching. She understood what it meant. The entire operation was to show strength, but not cruelty. She turned to her crew. "They still have a choice," she said. "But if they make the wrong one?" No one replied. They all knew. Meanwhile, on Cyrillon, the Council held an emergency meeting. Some wanted to talk. Others wanted to strike. The military commanders were split. Half their fleet was still trying to reboot after system failures. The other half refused to launch. Too many captains feared what would happen next. The High Speaker finally spoke. "We will send a message to Earth, a call for talks." Some groaned. Others sighed in relief. Thalen simply nodded. But as the message was prepared, one last warning came through. A small Council scout vessel, sent to monitor a Terran supply line, had gone dark. Its last transmission was short. Static. Then, "They have more ships behind us." The Council froze. The Terran fleet wasn't just above Cyrillon. There were more fleets, hidden, waiting. Earth hadn't just brought a sword to the table. They had surrounded the table. Now, the Council had a choice. Talk or vanish in the dark. A strange quiet filled the Council chamber. The sun outside was still blocked. Shadows covered Cyrillon, the Council's homeworld. The people below lived in fear. The skies above held thousands of silent human warships, like black mountains floating in space. For the first time in centuries, the mighty Council did not feel powerful. They felt surrounded. Ambassador Thalen stood alone in a small room deep inside the Council tower. Across from him was a hologram, a live connection with Earth Command. The figure of President Alina Vos appeared. Her face was calm, but cold. Thalen bowed slightly. "I did not expect them to send their leader," he said. Vos replied, "We didn't expect you to kill our miners." Silence fell between them. Then Vos spoke again. You wanted to control us, to slow us down, to break us before we rose too high. But you failed. You made us angry. And worse, you made us ready. Fallon didn't argue. He had read the reports, seen the data. The humans had moved faster than anyone believed. They built fleets in secret, trained soldiers in silence, launched deep spy units across Council space. And now, here they were. Vos leaned closer to the camera. Let's be clear, she said. This is not a peace offer. This is a warning. Fallon raised an eyebrow. Then why talk at all? Because we're still human, she said. We don't destroy unless we have to. We give one chance. The hologram flickered slightly. Vos' face hardened. Stand down. Leave our space. End all sabotage. Accept us as equals, or we go beyond your son. Fallon understood the meaning. This was their line. Cross it, and everything would burn. Back in the Grand Chamber, Fallon returned to speak with the other council members. He replayed the message for them. Gasps, shouts, fear. They dare threaten us. Let's strike now. Call in the outer fleets. Do they think we will bow? But some were silent. They had seen the power above them. Ships larger than cities. Silent, but ready. Shadows that didn't blink. And still, no human had fired a shot. Fallon raised his hand. We have two choices, he said. We talk, or we fall. The vote was close. But at the end, the motion passed. The council would send a response. In orbit, inside the massive Terran dreadnought Nemesis, Admiral Rhea Locke received the message. Council agrees to talks. Face to face. She looked at her officers. Good. We're not done yet. But it's a start. A single shuttle was cleared to land on Cyrillon. 1 human ambassador and 2 guards. No weapons. No threats. Ambassador Idris Cole, a tall man with sharp eyes and a steady voice, stepped out of the ship onto alien soil. Around him, thousands of council soldiers watched. But no one moved. Cole walked calmly into the council tower. Inside, he faced over 100 alien leaders, each one older, richer, and more powerful than most nations. He stood alone. And he spoke clearly. We are not here to destroy. We are here to finish this story the right way. You can call it surrender if it helps your pride. But what we really want is peace. The council speaker leaned forward. On whose terms? Cole smiled. On equal terms. He took out a data chip and placed it on the table. Here are the conditions, he said. Leave our systems. Shut down your sabotage units. Recognize Earth as a sovereign power. And most importantly, never touch one of our people again. If we agree? The speaker asked. Cole replied, then we leave. The ships go home. The sun returns. And if we don't? Cole's smile faded. Then the sun stays dark. Forever. There was no arrogance in his voice. No hate. Just truth. Outside, the people of Cyrillon looked up. Some cried. Others stayed inside. But all of them wondered the same thing. Had the council pushed too far? Back inside the chamber, the speaker looked at the chip. His hand trembled. You humans, you're like fire. Unpredictable. Wild. Cole nodded. That's what you thought. But we're more than fire. We're ice, too. Cold. Patient. Focused. He leaned forward. You blocked us for years. Now we've blocked your son. Fair trade. That night, the council met in secret. No cameras. No public vote. Just truth. They knew they could still fight, still resist, but it would cost them everything. And Earth wasn't bluffing. By morning, they had their answer. A message was sent to Earth Command. We accept your terms. Stand down. The sky above Cyrillon cleared. One by one, the Terran ships turned and disappeared into the stars. No one saw weapons fire. No one heard a battle.
But everyone knew. The war had already been won. And it was not won by shouting. It was won in silence. At Shadow, the skies over Cyrillon were clear again. The Terran warships had left, just as they promised. Slowly, quietly, one by one, they faded into the blackness of space. The sun shone again, but it didn't bring peace. The Council had signed the agreement. They had no choice. To the public, it said it was a new partnership with Earth. But behind closed doors, there was anger, shame, fear. Some council members were already talking in whispers. They embarrassed us. They humiliated the council. We should have fought. In a dark meeting room deep inside the tower, 5 council generals met in secret. They think this is over, one said. It's not, said another. We still have weapons they don't know about. But they're watching everything, the youngest general warned. Our systems are full of Terran eyes. If we try anything, they'll see it coming. The oldest general leaned forward. Then we don't strike now. We wait. We build in silence like they did. We show the galaxy that Earth may have blocked our sun, but they can never rule it. He tapped a screen and brought up a new plan. Project Hollow Star. Meanwhile, on Earth, celebrations had begun. News of the Council's surrender spread fast. People cheered in the streets. Flags flew. Soldiers returned home with honor. Across the world, Earth Command received thanks from every nation. But in the command halls, the mood was colder. Admiral Rhea Locke met with President Vols and other top leaders. They won't forget this, Locke said. I know, Voz replied. They're angry. They'll pretend to follow the treaty, but they'll want revenge. General Sato, head of Earth Intelligence, nodded. We're tracking movement already. Secret shipyards. Hidden labs. They're preparing for something. President Voz stood. We stopped them once, but we can't go blind again. Keep the fleet ready. Keep the shadows deep. From now on, we watch them. Always. Far from Earth, in a hidden part of Council space, a cold planet spun slowly around a dying star. No one lived there. No cities. No signals. But deep underground, work had already begun. Council scientists were building something new, something deadly. A weapon meant to do what fleets could not. Destroy Earth in one strike. They called it the Silence Engine. It would not use fire or missiles. It would use energy waves that could shut down power, systems, even minds. A wave so strong, it could leave a whole planet helpless in seconds. But to make it work, they needed something Earth had, Terran tech. So they turned to the black market. Back in the outer colonies, a human freighter named Dust Hauler made a stop on a forgotten mining moon. The captain, Jordan Ray, thought it was a simple delivery. A few crates. Easy money.
But when she opened one crate by accident, she saw something strange. Stolen Terran core chips, military grade. She froze. No one outside Earth Command was supposed to have those. Her co-pilot, Sam, stared at the chip. This isn't a job, he whispered. This is a trap. Jordan acted fast. She changed course, turned off the beacon, and headed for a secret Earth outpost on a nearby asteroid. There, she sent a message to Earth Intelligence. Within hours, the response came. Do not return home. You're being tracked. Someone wants that chip. Stay hidden. Help is coming. But help was far away, and Council agents were already nearby. Back on the cold planet, the Council's secret scientists received a new report. Cargo lost. Human ship escaped. The lead engineer frowned. Find it. We need that tech. A kill order was issued. Across space, a small team of Council hunters began the chase. Jordan and Sam didn't know it yet, but they were now the center of something much bigger than a freight job. They held proof of the Council's next plan. And if they were caught, Earth would never see the next strike coming. On Earth, Admiral Locke reviewed the report. "They're not backing down," she said quietly. "They're preparing for round 2. President Vos stood beside her. "Then we prepare first." Locke nodded. "Let's bring the fleet home. Let's let the people rest." But she added, "Let's also sharpen the knife." Outside, Earth's skies were peaceful. But in the dark between stars, something was moving again. Not war. Not yet. But something colder. A warning. The humans had blocked the sun once. Now they had to stop what was coming from the dark, before it was too late. The cold planet had no name on any map. It didn't need one. To the Council, it was simply Site 0, the place where revenge would begin. Deep under its frozen surface, the silence engine was almost complete. The Council scientists worked day and night. If they succeeded, Earth would lose power, communication, and control. The planet would fall without a single shot fired. It was their final move, their quiet revenge. But the humans were already watching. Far above, hidden in deep space, a Terran stealth ship called Wraith 7 floated silently. Inside, Commander Lex Hale stared at the screens. Data from the stolen ship found by Jordan Ray had led them here. "Power spikes confirmed," his officer said. "Something big is down there." Lex nodded. "Let Earth Command know. We're not dealing with just research anymore. This is a weapon." Back on Earth, the leaders listened to the report with grim faces. President Vos spoke first. "This is a second attack," she said. "They promised peace. Instead, they built this." Admiral Locke stood beside her. "No more warnings," she said. "This time, we strike first." Within hours, the Terran fleet moved, but not with noise. They came in quiet, fast, precise. A task force of elite dropships and stealth bombers headed straight for Site 0. The Council still believed they were hidden. They were wrong. As the sun rose over the icy surface, the ground exploded. Terran troops hit the base from all sides. Drones cut through steel doors. EMP charges took down walls. The Council guards tried to fight back, but the humans were faster, smarter, and better trained. Inside the control room, a Council scientist reached for the launch button. But a single Terran soldier appeared in the doorway. "Don't," she said calmly. The scientist froze. He looked into her eyes and saw no fear, only final warning. He stepped back. The silence engine was never fired. Instead, it was destroyed, blown into dust by precision charges. The explosion lit up the sky like a second sunrise. Above, in orbit, the Council spy ships tried to run, but Terran fighters were already there. No one escaped. Later, Jordan Ray and her co-pilot Sam were brought to Earth. They were not punished. They were honored. Jordan had saved billions by reporting the stolen tech. A statue of her was planned for New Geneva, but not everyone was celebrating. President Vos stood in the Earth Command war room, watching a quiet star map. She pointed to the Council worlds. "They still have power," she said. "They still hold fear over many planets." Admiral Locke replied, "But they also fear us now." Vos nodded. "Good. Let's keep it that way." Across the galaxy, things changed. Dozens of Council-aligned planets saw the truth. Earth had faced the old powers and won. Not with numbers, not with size, but with will and with courage. New alliances began forming. Small worlds reached out to Earth, hoping for friendship, trade, protection. A new balance had begun, one built not on fear, but on respect. Back on Cyrillon, the Council was silent. They had failed again. Their secret weapon was gone, their plans exposed, their lies uncovered. And worst of all, they had been spared. Thelen, now head of diplomacy, spoke to the council with calm strength. Enough. We lost, and we deserved to lose. Earth offered peace. We answered with betrayal. They still didn't crush us. What more proof do we need? Some argued. Some shouted. But more and more stayed quiet. Maybe Thelen was right. Maybe it was time to change. Meanwhile, on Earth, life went on. Children played under safe skies. Freighters moved through peaceful routes. The stars were quiet. But no one forgot what happened. Terran fleets remained alert. Shadow teams stayed active. Earth knew that peace was never free. It had to be watched, protected, defended, not with hate, but with strength. And now, across the galaxy, one phrase became legend. They didn't believe in humans until our warships blocked their sun. A story passed from world to world, from spaceports to council halls. A warning and a promise. Never underestimate Earth again. Because when humans rise, they rise together. And when they strike, they don't miss. The stars remembered, and the galaxy would never forget. Tools. ChatGPT can make mistakes. Check important info.